of Cooking with Cristy. Very excited. You'll see behind me, I know it's not the best view, but I can turn it a little bit. So this is our recipe that we're doing today. I've just our ingredients. So on the Facebook website, on our Facebook Live page, I have printed out the instructions. They are up there, but we are going to do it step by step. So I just want to let you know that I've never made scones before. These are also supposed to be cranberry orange scones, but Food Basics in Dunnville here did not have any cranberries that I've seen. So, hello Kathy, we're cooking with Cristy today. So, we didn't have the cranberries, so I've actually decided to go with the blueberry orange scones. It is a little recipe that should make 4 scones, so if you are living by yourself or maybe just you and your spouse, you definitely have the opportunity to make something, and it'll make about 4 of them. If you wanted more, you can always double, triple, quadruple the recipe, but we do want to focus on maybe families who are smaller. And before we start, I want to let you know that I have disinfected our table because we are at some point going to have to put the dough on our table. So my table is completely disinfected, my hands are washed, but I am going to, Kathy loves my hat. I don't have an apron today because the only one I had was Santa, and it breaks my heart that Santa's gone, but I am going to get a hat that says kiss the cook or something. Sometimes you just got to do it. So this is what I'm thinking. Let's start off by washing our hands, even though we just did, but I touched my ingredients. So I'm going to wash my hands, not only because it is COVID, but also because we actually want to make sure that we keep our food safe, even though I'll be watching. Hello, Jillian. Thank you for joining Cooking with Cristy. So here we go. Let's wash our hands. Now you can all judge my hand washing abilities. Oh, you can't. I'm off screen. All right. If anybody has any nice apron ideas, I'm looking for the one that makes it look like I have a bikini body. If anybody knows, that would be wonderful. If not, what are you gonna do? Eventually when I'm dead, I might have a bikini body, but we'll see. All right, so first steps first. We got all of our ingredients, and it says, heat the oven to 425. So let's do it. All right, so we're preheating. Again, just want to let you ladies and gentlemen know, I've never made scones before, so, well, I have from a box. Don't tell my husband because he thinks I've made them from scratch. But I didn't, so let's see how it goes. All right. We have our big mixing bowl. This is going to be for our ingredients. I also have a small mixing bowl because this is also going to be for the glaze. Our scones are so fancy they get a glaze, so we have those, and then we have all of our ingredients. So everything you see on the board, you can see on my table here, strategically, so you can see what we have. All right, so first things first, we started the oven, and then it says line a large baking sheet with parchment paper, or use silicone liner. I'm pretty sure we have some paper. Let's check it out. Maybe I lied. Little sandwich, aluminum foil. We have everything in here. There we go, parchment paper. All right, so here's our baking tray. And here is our parchment paper. And one of the things that I have that I'm trying to do is when I'm cooking or baking, anytime I'm done with it, I want to put it away. So every time I'm making anything, I start like this. Can you hear? Cristy Spain wants us to drop us off some things new. Cristy doesn't share. Okay. All right, so here we go, ladies and gents. We've lined our thing in a large mixing bowl. We are going to mix together flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, and baking soda. So let's start with our flour. We need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. There we go. 1 nice even cup. You don't want it heaping because it might actually change a little bit of the recipe. So just, and I know I'm farther away and you may not be able to hear as well today. I'm trying my best. I'll try and talk louder. All right. So we have flour. Next we need our sugar. So what do we need for sugar? 2 tablespoons of sugar. So let's see. Here's a tablespoon. So I really hope these work, because if they do, I won't have to fib to my husband when he's telling me that he would like some scones, and I say, sure, honey, let me make you some from scratch, and I wrestle with my box. All right, so we're getting 2 scoops of sugar. All right, so we'll put that back because that's done, and then you know what you've already used. Next, baking powder. How much baking powder do we need? 1 teaspoon, so that's not too bad. We're gonna find our teaspoon. 1 teaspoon, 5 milliliters. And it is baking powder. You know, I was making something not long ago, and what was I making? Oh, I make really good banana bread, and I asked my husband to get me some baking soda. I even wrote it on a piece of paper, sent him down with it, and he texts me from the grocery store and says, you mean baking powder? I said, no, honey, I need baking soda. That's why I wrote baking soda on the list. And he says, baking soda is only for cleaning. No, it's not. So we had to have a 20-minute conversation because he thought I was wrong. And between you and I'm not wrong very often. So, all right, we need salt. How much salt do we need? 1/4 of a teaspoon. So here we go. Just a tiny little guy. Don't need much salt. And I'm assuming if you have some salt issues where maybe you don't want, you're not allowed to have salt or anything, I'm sure if you skipped it, it would be fine. Oh, that is more than we need. So, you didn't see that. I just threw out the rest because I overpoured it. All right, and baking soda. So again, we're gonna look. We need 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So that's even smaller. So I'm just gonna use 1/2 of my 1/4, which would make it 1/8, we hope. Where is my, oh, there it is. And you know what? I went to the grocery store today to get the ingredients we didn't have. I had to get some baking soda, eggs, oranges, and cream, and blueberries. And it only cost me like $10. So if you have most of these things at home already, yeah, it won't be very costly at all. So here we go. I don't know how much you can show you, but I'm just putting in, it looks like a lot, but it's actually not. It's only about half. So we're gonna put that in there. All right, using a pastry blender or a fork, cut butter into flour mixture until mixture resembles fine crumbs. Okay, so first we're gonna store everything. So let me get just a nice little wooden spoon here. We're just gonna mix it up. I know in the first video I talked about having gone to culinary school, which was pretty exciting, although I didn't stick with it for very long. So I should be able to cook lots of things, but I can't. So thanks, Lisa. I need a new hat that says "Kiss the Cook." All right, so we got it mixed up nicely. I'll show you what it looks like. It's just dry white ingredients, so nothing too fancy, but it is nice and done up. All right, next we are going to, using a pastry blender or a fork or your fingertips, cut butter into flour mixture until mixture resembles fine crumbs. So it did say to use cold butter, so we are going to try and use cold butter. And I need 4 tablespoons. So what I'm going to do is grab a knife here. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a professional. So let's hope I don't end up in the emergency room, because that would be a bummer. All right, so we're just going to cut this, and this is tablespoon. And how much tablespoon do I need? 4 tablespoons. All right, so we're just going to cut this really into like shavings. All right, we'll toss her in one. Now, if anything goofs this up, I feel like it might be the butter, because when it's hard to get it all together so you can see what's happening, right? So I'm going to assume that this looks like 1 tablespoon. Oh, it's so hard. There we go. See, it looks about 1 tablespoon, right? All right, let's see. And we're gonna put it into the bowl. And we need some more, because we need 4 in total, right? So there's 1. If I forget where I'm at, you ladies and gentlemen will have to let me know, okay? All right. All right, going up on this one. What a January we're having, eh? Like, there's hardly any snow, and we're already at the end of January, so either we're gonna have a really bad February, or Mother Nature kind of forgot about us today, or this year. Because last year, when my memories come up from Facebook, it shows quite a lot of snow and stuff, so. All right, so this one looks pretty fullish. Here's number 2. Oh goodness, I hope these turn out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. We'll get our first flop on the Facebook page here. When I'll be trying so hard to make it look like I know what I'm doing. But out of all that time in culinary school, I'll tell you what I remember. There's over 200 ways to make eggs. I know about 6 of them. And I also learned that you can boil water at 212 degrees. That's the boiling temperature of water. So if I ever need any of those to save my life, I'm good. If I needed to actually make something, I'm not good. And I feel bad for my husband, because when we met, I had told him I had gone to culinary school, so he says, sweet, I got a lady who can cook. And then now after 18 years, I cook. But I think he's a little disappointed because he's not eating things like filet mignon or, chicken devant or any of those fancy dishes. We're basically just wieners and beans kind of folks. Although I will say, I do make a really good spaghetti. All right, so this will be our last one. We're just gonna cut these up. Again, if your butter is hard, or maybe you pre-setted it up or something, like you got your scoops, which would have been really smart. I probably should have done that. But if not, just cutting it up seems to be working okay so far. We'll see. All right, and I think this last little strip should be enough. And does anybody know what a pastry cutter is? I feel like in my mind, I'm not really sure what it is, but I feel like it would be one of those, the handheld mashers that have like the 3 lines going down? I feel like that would be something they would use to cut butter into pastries. or like into something. All right, so here we go. We got our 4. All right, and because I was just playing with butter, I'm going to wash my hands. Oh, I keep forgetting I'm off screen, but here's my leg. See it? I'm still there. All right. Let's see. Using a pastry blender or a fork or your fingertips, cut butter into flour mixture until mixture resembles fine crumbs. All right, so I'm going to use my fingers. I just washed them, so I'm going to remove my ring. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't let me forget that there, because I might not have a husband if I get home without it. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'll come up here and show you. I'm just using my fingertips to rub the flour into the butter. So I think this is probably going to take a couple of minutes. It's so hard to see in here. So we'll just come back up here and we'll do this again here. I could probably use both my hands. Definitely going to take a couple minutes to kind of get it in and do whatever. I mean, I could use a fork, but I thought my fingertips would be a little better, so we'll have to see. So while we're here, does anybody have any favorite types of scones? And is scones and tea biscuits, are they the same thing? I don't know how that works. I know I have a client who is, she's Irish, and when we say tea biscuits, she always thinks it's like a cookie because they call them, oh, I'm making a mess. They call them in Ireland scones. And I think England is probably the same. So does anybody know if we would call them something else? Like would we, I don't know what I'm asking. Is it the same? All right, I might need a fork because I don't really see much change happening. And I feel like there's still a lot to be worked in here. But maybe we'll just keep going and see what happens. All right. I can't believe it's Friday today. I'm shocked at how fast the month is flying by. Like we're already going into February. Gentlemen and ladies, for any of you who are watching, we are still in the middle of a lockdown, but Valentine's Day is in just over 2 weeks. So if you need some time as a heads up, there you go. If you want to get some flowers or some chocolates or maybe even just make a nice dinner for your husband or wife, that would be perfect. Sorry, you can tell I'm watching the TV just to see if there's any comments and stuff. All right, so, I mean, I guess it resembles crumbs, but I think I need more. So let me wash my hands again, and I'll get a fork. Here, and I'll use my towel instead of making a mess with all my paper towels everywhere. All right, getting a fork. Let's see, because we can't take too long, because we're gonna run out of time here. All right. Although it's definitely changing consistency, so that's a good sign, I guess. It doesn't look nearly as nice and smooth as it was. All right, so I think we're pretty much there. This is what it looks like. I know it's really hard for everybody to see, but as you can tell, it is definitely more crummy. So it's not just flour, so that's good. All right, I'm gonna pop my butter back in there so I don't have to touch it again. And those of you who know me, I can make anything look difficult. So. All right, butter, done. Next, it says, in a small bowl, whisk together egg yolk, orange juice, and orange zest. So we are looking for egg yolk. So we just need 1 egg yolk. One of our clients used to know a lot of jokes, and one of them was, I don't quite remember, but the gist of it was, the yolk's on you. And I wish I could remember that egg joke because I'm playing with eggs right now, so it would have come in handy. All right, so you're just going to crack your egg. I don't know where to do this where you can see. I'll put it in here. All right, so I'm just going to put it in here, the white, only because I need the yolk. So we're just going to go back and forth. Of course, I just drip some on the table. All right, into the bowl. I probably could have done a little cleaner with my hands, but I was trying not to. And anytime we touch raw eggs, wash them hands. If you haven't noticed it, I'm kind of a fanatic with washing my hands. I almost obsess about it a little bit. I'm always washing my hands. Whether I'm here, at home, cooking or not, sometimes I'll even just be reading a book and I have to get up and wash my hands because I just start to feel dirty for no real reason. But hey, that's how God made me, so here I am. All right, egg yolk, orange juice. So we need, to get our orange juice, we're going with the real thing, baby. We're going with actual oranges. So we're gonna roll it along the table. And we're just gonna kind of break up all that juice in there, get it nice and loose. All right. I'm totally gonna make my ring vanish somewhere here. All right. 1 tablespoon, which is, I somehow lost my tablespoon. Oh, oven's ready. All right, 1 tablespoon. We're gonna use this one. I don't know what happened to my white one, but story of my life. All right, let's get a knife. All right, get a nice sharp knife. Be very careful. We're just gonna stab it in and turn it. That'll give us enough where we can actually see it. And we're just going to extract some of this orange juice in here. Almost there. I know it's really hard to see, but it's definitely coming. Perfect. Now, I might need my orange again, so I'm just going to put it over here on the table, which has also been disinfected. And we have 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed orange juice. Just for the record, for that amount of work, I would like a lot more juice. All right, we also need some rind. So there's some zest. I don't have a zester, but if anybody else does, please feel free to use it. So I'm going to instead, not gonna lie, I'm not a big orange fan. So I'm just going to very slowly and thinly shave off some of these that you can actually see. So 1 strip is about this big. So it's very, very thin. Sorry, it's hard to tell where it is in there. See? Very, very tiny. We're supposed to do 1 tablespoon of zest. I am not going to do 1 tablespoon of zest. I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to do any zest, but it calls for it, so we're going to do it. But I'm only going to do 3 little strips, and that's it. I'm not going to do a bunch of zest. I know when I was in culinary school, they always used to say, "Oh, it's so good." No, It's not. I find it bitter. I don't like marmalade. I'm a finicky little thing, you know? I really am. I don't live on the edge. All right, so in a small bowl, whisk together egg yolk, orange juice, and zest. So I'm actually just gonna use my fork. I'm not gonna use a whisk. I could, but I think I get better out of my fork. So let's just mix this up. And again, you can see that I did not use very much. Oh, pour into flour mixture just and stir until just combined. Well, it doesn't look like very much, does it? So these are either going to be really good or they're not going to be good at all, because it doesn't seem like this is very much moisture. Sorry, it's so hard to find out where my camera is. Oh, here we go, right here. Not very much, eh? But we'll just mix it really good and let's see what happens. So, I still have my thing here, and it says, in a small bowl, mix, whisk together egg yolk, orange juice, and orange zest. Pour into flour mixture and stir until just combined. All right, let's do it. We're gonna stitch our fork here. And I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it over top. All right, and then mix till it's just combined. So let's see here. I don't know until it's just combined. I don't know what that really means. So we'll just kind of, I might have to break up my hands again just to get a little bit more of the dough in there. I know it's supposed to be more of a drier dough, so that's working good for us because it definitely looks drier. And ladies and gentlemen, I am open to any critiquing. So if you see this video and you're like, you know what happened? It's supposed to look more like whatever. Let me know, because we're going to be doing these. I'd like to do one once a month. I personally enjoy it. I kind of feel like Ellen DeGeneres over here, or Rachel Ray. You know, what the heck, eh? If we can figure out something and I can do it here, then I can go home and do it at home too, and hopefully impress my family, because for some reason, my daughter seems to be getting a little bit more picky, so she's always telling me, Mom, I don't like this. All right, so I'm gonna use my hands and just kind of blend it all together again. But I think we're pretty close to what we're looking for. I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie. I feel like maybe they should be a little bit wetter than this, but we've done the recipe exactly as they say, although we can't get a little extra fluid out of here. Definitely not much, but let's see as much as we can. Are you guys lucky? It's like an hour of me just talking to myself. Now, I have heard before that if you can crumble it and it stay as it is, then that's a pretty good indication that, that you're doing okay. So I'm going to leave it like that. All right, so turn on the dough. Hey, wait a minute. I think I skipped something. Hang on. Oh, yep, I did. I'm supposed to add milk to this. So, how much milk did I need? 1/4 cup, so that's kind of a little bit. So, now that I had to add it in separately, we'll see how it works. All right, let's get some milk. So 1/4 cup of milk. That seems a lot to me, doesn't it? Let's just make sure. Milk. 1/4 cup. Actually, I guess it's not that much. So now, unfortunately, I've already mixed my stuff in here, so I'm just gonna do it this way and see what happens. And if it's a big old mess, I'm very sorry in advance. This looks like dough now. Because it should be quite sticky, I think, right? And that's kind of where we're at now. All right, then it says, turn dough into lightly floured work surface. Knead very lightly to form a 5 by 5 inch circle that is 1 inch thick. Okay, so let me move this. Sorry, I got a little bit of egg here. Oh, there goes my knife. All right, so we'll get that in a minute because, we're not that worried about it. All right, so I need a little lightly floured workspace. Now, we definitely don't want too much flour, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit and then kind of rub it everywhere. All right, so here's my dough. It's actually looking pretty good. I'll show you. Nice and, I can squeeze it, it stays. You can see a little bit of the, well, maybe not, but you can see a little bit of the orange peels in there. All right, so this comes out. All right. I think it said prep time. Total time, it's supposed to take us prep time 10 minutes. I'm fired. All right. So we're just gonna lightly knead it a little bit. It's looking good. Now, all right, so we are going to get our bowl back and put our stuff in it. So I'm using blueberries because, again, they didn't have any cranberries. So I've already washed them, and they are, we're looking for half a cup. So I think it's half a cup. Yes, half a cup of fresh blueberries. That's about enough. All right, and now we'll just stir this in. Now, it's probably not going to be as pretty as it would be because I'm now smushing all my blueberries in. But the flavor should be there and the color should be there. So I think overall we'll still be okay. All right, although it does not look very good. Oh, it made it very sticky. All right, so this is our dough. Not too bad. Definitely doesn't look very good, but we'll see at the end how it tastes. All right, so now we're going to cut the circle into 4 wedges. All right, bake it 13 minutes. So let's see. Now I apologize if I goofed it up with the fresh blueberries, but they didn't have cranberries, so it was kind of torn. So we're going to cut this into 4 wedges. So I'm just going to cut it into quarters, just to go through. All right. There's 1. 2. 3. And 4. All right. So when that's in there, all right, put it on and bake for 13 minutes until golden brown. All right, so that's our timer. So those are going to cook for 13 minutes. Hopefully they will work out. Now there's also some glaze that we can do. But in order to get to the glaze, we're not going to be able to finish today, but I can definitely show you how the glaze, and once they're out and they cool, it says they're supposed to cool for, cut circle into 4 wedges, prepare on baking sheet, bake 13 minutes or until golden brown. Let cool on baking sheet for 5 minutes, then transfer onto a wire rack to cool completely for about 20 minutes. With the time already now being 4:45, or sorry, it is not 4:45, 2:45, we won't have time, but what we'll do is we're going to mix up our glaze so we know what it looks like, although we're all just winging it because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. And it'll, at the end when your scones are nice and cool, you can go ahead and drizzle that over top and enjoy your scones. So let me clean up my mess here a little bit. I don't need this egg whites for anything. So, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, not only did I go to culinary school, but I used to work in a pretty nice vintage inn in Niagara Lake. And you'd think, with working there, I was the prep cook for the breakfast, and then sometimes I also helped out with the what do they call them? Offsites, whatever I can't remember what they called it, but I would also go and help out with all those. It was pretty neat. So you definitely think that I should be able to cook better than I cook, but I don't. All right, table is nice and clean, so we can get going with our glaze now. So we're gonna need our little bowl. So I just use this, so I'm gonna quickly rinse it out and wash it. It's always handy to have a nice sink full of soapy water and stuff right there, nice and easy peasy. All right, let's see here. Rinse this out. I can't believe it's already Friday. It used to be more fun when there was things you could do on a Friday, but now with this lockdown, can't really do much of anything, eh? Same as you do every other day. All right, so for the glaze, whisk together the powdered sugar, cream, and orange juice until smooth. All right, so we need half a cup of powdered sugar. Oh, I didn't even get that one out, did I? Yes, I did, right here. Now it says sifted. I'm I'm just gonna shake it. I know they want it to be light and airy and it gets the clumps out and stuff, but I'm not that fancy, so I'm just gonna do it that way. All right, so this is done. Then we needed 2 tablespoons of cream. I lost my red ones, that's okay. 1 tablespoon of cream, and it did say to use heavy cream, so I got 10%. I'm assuming that's heavier. All right, there's 1, 2. Okay, and what's the last thing we need? 1 teaspoon of orange juice. Half a teaspoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 half a teaspoons. Again with the fresh juice. I bought myself 2 oranges in case I needed more juice, but we're really just going to deform this one as much as possible to get that extra juice in there. All right, there's 1. All right, and here's 2. All right, we can leave those in there. And now we are going to whisk it together. All right, so here's my whisk. We're just gonna, it's basically just gonna look like royal icing is what I'm gathering. So it actually looks pretty good right now. And with the orange juice in it, it should give it a nice little sweet kick to it. And this is the consistency that we're looking for. Can you see it in there? So here's the consistency. You know, ladies and gentlemen, looking in this thing is so hard. So that's it. So once our scones are done, and they're out, and they're completely cooled down, then we can take this and we can drizzle it over top. It'll stay on because it won't melt or anything because it's already cooled down. And shabam, you got yourself some fresh cranberry orange scones. So if you want to wait for 8 more minutes, mine will be done and I can show you, hopefully, that they turned out rather nicely. So yeah, that was it. And then comes the fun part of cleaning up my mess, which is always the best. So what I think I'll do is I'll end the video right now because we do have a couple minutes. So I'll probably come back on at about 3:15 and show you our finished product. Okay, just so we're not sitting here just watching me clean up because you ladies and gentlemen are busy. You got things to do too. So once they're done, I'll come back online and I'll show you, or I'll even take a picture and put it up for everybody to see, okay? Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry I talked your ear off for the last, 45, 50 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope when you make them, they turn out very, very good and delectable, and I'm really kind of excited to see how they taste. All right, so have a great day, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining Cooking with Cristy. We will see you next month. Bye-bye.